Hello, I'm Charity Dunker, and welcome to this edition of Inside Government. On this edition of Inside Government, we will be speaking with representatives from the Division Labor Affairs and Social Services from the National Employment Service Center, Nesc, which falls under the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor. Without further ado, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce and welcome my guest, Miss Mariah Constant, and also representing for the Business Service Unit, that is the department she falls under, and also Mr. Lenroy Ray, representing the Employment Services Unit. How are you both doing, and welcome to Inside Government.
Morning. We're good.
We're good. We're doing very well. Thank you for having us today.
You're most welcome. So, as my guest here, you will be shedding light on the array of various workshops that are going to be conducted.
Yes.
And I'm what I last read up on, it was from June. You started in June?
Yes, the first one was it was in June.
Of this year, 2019.
This year,
That was the first one, and then we're going to lead straight over into 2020.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit of workshops that we have coming up.
So you'll be ending exactly on June 2020, year 2020?
So far we go up until June 2020, and then after that we'll see if there's a need to continue with more. So
Okay. Responsibilities of the Nesc and business employability and also enhancement workshops. Explain to us the Nesc, or what is the operations of the Nesc?
Well, the Nesc, short for National Employment Service Center, is a group of individuals. Is about, I think, 6 of us right now, which consists of 2 employment officers, 2 business officers, the section head, and the director of Labor Affairs and Social Services. And it's basically, you could say, movement we're doing that trying to help the job seekers when it comes to helping them to be more employable for the labor market, and for the business aspect, helping these businesses,
making them more aware of what is going on in the jobs for the job seekers, and just aiding them generally as businesses, because we really cater to the small and medium businesses, and so we really just want to help them enhance as best as we possibly can. Outside of that, our services also include recruitment. So we have hosted recruitment drives for businesses that ask us to. We've also handled vacancy submission. And in general, we just try to build relationships with the businesses and the job seekers in order to help both of the sides, because we've realized that we have a lot of issues with both teams, and so we just want to help them as much as possible.
Okay. Both your roles within each unit. What is the role that you play, Miss Mariah Constant?
Okay, so I am one of the business services officers, which means that I work from the business end. So I work with, whatever the businesses need. We meet with the businesses, we talk with the businesses, and whatever they need, we try to get that conveyed to the job seekers. So business services officer is the title that I carry.
All right. And Mr. Lenroy Ray?
Yeah, for me, I'm one of the employment services officers. So for me, I'm the first person a job seeker sees when they're looking for employment. So we have them fill out a form, attach their resumes and whatever diplomas they have, also their IDs. And then what I do, I book it in the system, and later, maybe like a week or 2 later, we call them in for assessing, where we have them go through like in-depth questions. It's about probably 60 or 70 questions, just to see where they're at now and where they want to be in the future. And also I deal with, I have a small role with the businesses also. They come in to me and they bring the vacancies that they have
available.
Yeah, and what we do, we go through the database to see who is you could say like what's the word? I'm losing the word.
A good match.
A good match, basically. Yeah. So we refer the job seeker to the business.
Okay. On those responsibilities, as you said, your tasks that you do, your day-to-day tasks. Then, Miss Mariah, you explained that your task would be to help the smaller businesses,
Small to medium business.
Small to medium business, and then for you, Lenroy, saying that up to about 60 questions may be presented to persons when they come seeking employment in those respective areas.
Yeah, that's the
fields.
assessment process. Yeah.
Okay. Do you also sit with them throughout that? 60
Yeah, one-on-one.
One-on-one.
Yeah, we basically ask them the questions and we put it in for them. Put it straight to the computer.
All right. And for doing that sort of task, you also request for them to register beforehand?
Yeah, that's the first step. They register to us as unemployed, and then we put in this basic information, their name, ID, what kind of job they're looking for. I scan all the documents to the system. So as soon as we call them back in for the assessment, we have your information right there.
Some of the experiences you've both gained over the years in working your job, your functions, what are the most of the demands that you have from the public when it comes to employability and seeking jobs? And then for the business aspect, when it comes to small to medium business, what are some of the queries that they may have?
Well, so far, a lot of the challenges in the business community seems to be around the same. So a lot of them are having problems finding people that fit the qualifications that they're looking for, hence why we need employability enhancement workshops. We also just have issues with, permits, just getting the vacancies out there so people are not aware that there are vacancies, finding people in the right department, not the departments and industries. So those are the common things that keep coming up over and over again. And there's a general feeling that we've gotten from the business community that they don't feel like we care about them. And so we want to completely erase that and build a relationship with these businesses so that they feel good coming to us with their vacancies, so that we can give them help, because they know that if they come to us, that we are there to take care of whatever they need. So that is what we're currently working on.
And Mariah, thus far, the response and reaction towards what they've been receiving on the end of your services?
So far, since we've started with the workshops and we've started reaching out to the business community more, it's been very positive. So we are hoping to continue going on that momentum and conducting surveys and whatever else we really need, because this is an entire new system, the Nesc team, and we really want to get going and really change the way that the relationship is with the business community and with the labor department. So.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to remember to help keep you and your family safe. If you're not in an area that is advised to evacuate and you decide to stay in your home, plan for adequate supplies in case you lose power and water for several days and you're not able to leave due to flooding or blocked roads. This hurricane season, make a family emergency communication plan. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
In helping persons within the community, Len Roy, for the employment enhancement programming. And as you said, you sit on a one-on-one basis and all 60 questions you help submit. The response that they've also received when heading out seeking job employability.
For me, the most common issue I have when people coming in for employment is, one, it's like a patience thing, because some people are like, I need a job now, I have this to do, I have that to do. And another thing is, the majority of people that come in for seeking employment, all of them want the same type of job. So like, majority of the applicants I get, everybody wants to be an administrative assistant. But when you sit down with them and ask them, why do you want to be, they never have an answer for that. So that's where we have the assessments. That's what the process is there for. So at the end of the assessment, you really want to do something like totally different from being an administrative assistant. So that's why the assessment process is there for. So we can so we know, we come to a consensus like, okay, this is what you really want to do. That's not administrative assistant, is not for you. So that's the main issue for
as
us.
Mariah also stated, in order to find that good match.
Yes.
Right, which is very important. I take it. As for when it comes to, we're looking at now the upcoming workshops that you also have on the table. That's laid out, as you said, from this year. You started June in this year, 2019, and it will head out until next year, which is in the year 2020. Yeah. Surveys had to be conducted at some point. Can you share with us how the department went about doing the survey?
Well, initially we did try getting a survey out to the business community. However, we ran into a couple of hiccups with that. So we wouldn't get back the replies because we prefer to do like a digital survey. We wouldn't get replies, or the replies that we did get were tailored to match what they thought we wanted to know or what we wanted to hear. And so we put a pause on that survey. But what we did get, we used that and we sat together. So my colleague and I sat together and we decided, okay, these are the issues that have been coming up. So let's just go ahead and create a series of workshops that we think would best suit the business community. And then after the first workshop that we held in June, which was our SZV and taxes workshop, we did have a survey right there for the people that were present. And then they were able to complete the survey that answered if they were in agreement with the business, with the workshops that we decided to go with, and if they had any other suggestions. So that is how we managed to still get information from them, even though there was some problems in the beginning. So,
Okay.
For me, for me and my colleague, the other employment officer, we don't necessarily have a survey, but we get our information based on the assessment, because we have like a category system, like category 1, 2, and 3. So category 1, that means you're immediately employable. So basically, you don't need the employability enhancement workshop. So we can basically send you out into the labor market to try and search for a job. So that means you have everything intact. So your resume, your mannerisms when it comes to dealing with interviews and stuff, you have that intact. Our target for the employability enhancement is category 2 and 3. That's people who are somewhat employable but just needs a little tweaking.
Okay.
So that's why our employability enhancement workshops, we have a wide range of topics we deal with, broken down in modules. So the first one is preparing for the job, which we tackle intrapersonal and interpersonal skills, as well as communication skills. Module 2 is finding the job. So we explain about successful job search and how to search for the job. And a big topic in that module is about self-marketing and social media, the do's and don'ts. And the third one is getting the job. So we explain about how to do good resume and cover letter building, and explain about interviewing tips. So how to deal with the interview, how to dress for the interview, eye contact, your personality, and do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And the last one, which is important to me, is keeping the job. So we talk about ethics in the workplace and employer and employee relationships, and also the rights of the employee and the employer.
I'm happy that you mentioned of the 3 different categories, and you said the first, as you mentioned, would be those persons who are ready to head out there, and they're employable at that time. But you said those who probably need a little tweaking here or there. After attending a couple of the series of the workshops, is it then they'll go through another evaluation, and then you
another one-on-one assessment, and we make sure they understand what was given, all the material that was given during the workshop, and then that's where we have a more in-depth one-on-one. We help them with their resume and their cover letters, and we basically have them teach us what they were taught. So, and that's where we decide if we can bump you up to category 2 or bump you up to category 1, and we send you out into the job market, the labor market.
Have you also had one of those persons who came seeking a job also ended up working within your department?
I think so. I can't remember.
You've seen a few familiar faces?
Yeah.
Saying good morning?
Yeah.
Morning?
Not in our department, but in the government building. Yeah. I saw one. It had a day I went down the stairs and she was coming. I watch her. I see the tag. I say, okay, good.
Okay.
Do your thing.
actually, just to correct Mr. Ray, I am actually one of them.
Okay.
So
All right,
when I
Mariah.
returned home in 2017, I had to sit down with his counterpart and do my interview, my assessment.
Yes.
And here I am 2
forgot.
years later
She's your colleague.
as
Yeah,
his
yeah,
colleague. So it has happened.
Good. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Right? And still the work goes on.
Oh, yeah, for
carries
sure.
on. And as for percentage level in the surveys, in doing the surveys, what's the employment level of percentage of unemployability?
Well, we don't have the percentage, but we have the amount of people that has registered for unemployment for this year already. But it's like a split down in the middle because we also share the department with the social services. So one of the requirements for when people are applying for financial assistance, medical assistance, and legal assistance is you have to register as unemployed. So those people are not necessarily looking for jobs. They're just looking for assistance. But the people who are looking for jobs, we can say for the year, probably 80 to 100 people that apply for unemployment, that are looking for employment.
All right, and then the different areas also that you've noticed, Miss Mariah, Constant, in your field when it comes to the businesses, the small and medium businesses. What are those sectors that are saying that we have openings for employability?
Well, right now, the biggest one, which I think comes to no surprise to anyone, is construction. That is our top, the top area that we're looking for people for, especially now with the NEPA program going on. We are getting a lot of businesses requesting, can they maybe work with us in some way to be able to reach to these graduates that just came out of NEPA. So that is the biggest one. Outside of that, then you have your regular office assistant jobs, some accounting work, but really construction and more physical labor jobs are the top ones that we have right now.
That's the main thing.
Let's look into the workshops. Since there are an array of various workshops, can you please name them off for the listeners
Okay.
to know what to expect and the dates?
Okay, so the first one we had, like you said, it happened in June. That was SZV and taxes. And for that one, we had a representative from SZV there, and we had a representative from Grant Thornton there in order to speak to the businesses. For the next one that we have upcoming this month, so that is in September, we have a permits and social corporate responsibility workshop, so employment permits and corporate social responsibility for the businesses. That is the one that is happening on September 19th from 3:30 until 5 o'clock at the Government Administration Building. So all the workshops will be taking place at the Government Administration Building anywhere from 3:30 to 5 or 4 o'clock to 6. It's really tentative. But of course, we always make sure that the information is posted on Facebook and invitations are sent out well in advance so that people have the correct timing. After the one in September, we go into December where we have human resources and dismissals. Then we have next year March with marketing and branding. And then finally next June when we have leadership and communication.
Okay. All right. Leadership and communication.
Yes.
So we're looking at persons who have been employed, and as Mr. Lenroyd says, all about also maintaining the job, keeping the job. So in reference to what you just said on the last workshop that will be held, that's where persons will be able to learn ways of how to maintain.
Well, for us, for the leadership and communication, we are looking at it because these are the business services workshops. So we are looking at it from the side of how to be a good boss, how to be a good employer for the people that we want to keep the jobs, because we can teach people all we want about keeping the job and how to get the job. But if the businesses are not on the same level or not in the same mind frame, then we'll still run into issues. So for us, it's more about teaching these business owners how to be good leaders, how to communicate to your employees, what's important for you to communicate, and how that can help your business and help you to keep good employees.
Okay.
So that is what we'll be focusing on that workshop.
As for observations during workshops, will you also be present, Mr. Lenroy Ray, as you also sit?
Yeah, we conduct the workshops, actually. Me and my colleague, we do the workshops. So we take turns presenting the different slides, and we also have activities. So we make sure they're involved and we also have role playing. So we would have two of the students come up. One would be the human resource manager. One would be the person coming in for the interview. So you have a first-hand experience on what to do and what not to do and what to expect when coming in for the interview. So, and it's been going good so far. Our workshop, we do it every last week of the month. Okay. So the process for the month we do is we go through the database, we get the category 2s and 3s that we put together. We get about 15 to 20 per class. So during the month we tried, and that's the hardest part, trying to get them to come, because it's like when you call them, the first thing is, oh, you got a job for me? It's like, not exactly, but we baby steps. So it's been going good so far.
Your colleague will be joining you during the presentations.
Yeah,
What's
the
your
two of
colleague's
us.
name?
Oh, Shonda Phillips.
Okay. All right. So you want to shout out?
Shonda. I'm a girl.
The incentive for hosting such workshops, the ending outcome, what you hope to accomplish when the workshops has come to an end in 2020.
Well, for the business community, we're hoping that by the end of it, we have stable relationships with some of these businesses so that we can have them in a database or on file for when we have training opportunities, apprenticeship opportunities, and just general job placement. because the better the relationship that we have with the businesses, the easier it is for us when we get vacancies in general. And then when after we finish helping these people with the employability enhancement workshops, the easier it is to place them later on if we are already aware of the business culture, who is in charge. So that is the goal of at the end of these workshops, just to show them that we've given you this information. We're making sure that you are well aware of your rights as a business, your do's and don'ts, everything that you need to know. And all we ask in return is that you build some kind of a relationship with us, so that if we have people in the community, that we can send them to you and they're given a fair chance. So that is the goal.
As you're going to be presenting at the workshop as well, your goal in mind that you hope to see accomplished at the end.
Well, the main thing for the goal for us is the goal of the Nesc, which is just to make people as employable as possible. So because we all went through the how to say, I'm losing it. we all went through that time in life where we couldn't find a job. We went through so many interviews and you wouldn't get the call back. So our main goal is just to try and get these people as employable as possible. So that's why we take so much time and we made these PowerPoints and these assessments because we know how it is to not have a job. So we're trying our best to help you get that job. But at the same time, we doing our part. We want the person to do their part also. We can't do 100% of the work and just be like, hey, okay, you start this job Monday, 8 o'clock. So you have to have that same motivation as we have to help you find that job. So that's our main goal.
All right. When it comes to whoever is listening right now to this here radio station, and they are probably wondering how does one go ahead and register?
Okay. So for the business enhancements workshops, because as Lenroy mentioned, for the employability enhancement workshops, they reach out to the clients. But for the business enhancement workshops, they can always just send us an email because we prefer that you RSVP. So you can send an email to neskteam@stmartingov.org. Okay. That is the best way to get into contact with us.
All right. And telephone number?
You can call the government telephone number. So you can call 542-0640 and then just ask to speak with anyone from the Nesc team, and they will link you with the correct person.
All right. And also if there's any updates, I'm guessing, or changes to be made, adjustments to be made to timing. So
any adjustments, any changes, everything is posted on Facebook. So that is also a pretty good place to get us. And of course, a lot of businesses do come into our office on a daily, so they can always ask at any time if they can just meet with one of us for 5 minutes just to get more information, or if they just want to talk about maybe how they can join with us or how we can partner with them. That is also an option.
All right. For both Mariah and also Lenroy, when it comes to, let's start with Mariah. When you sit with the businesses, right, the small to medium business, and, age is quite a factor sometimes, and this is the age group I would like to have my employees be in order for them to work with me. What is the request in age?
Usually people just ask from 18 onwards. There's not a very specific age group. Of course, depending on the job and the criteria of the job, they require someone a little older. So if they're asking for a managing director or something along those lines, then they expect maybe someone 35 and upwards. They tend not to go for a younger age demographic. But of course, for the construction companies, they tend to want anyone maybe 18 and older, someone that is still strong, someone that can still do a lot of physical work. So it really varies based on the job. So there's no age group. As long as you're finished with high school and 18 and older, you can always come in and register as unemployed, and we will do our best to find something for you.
All right. And for you, Lenroy, when sitting with the various age groups of persons seeking employment, let's just say from age range 19 and up, what are the different requests in seeking employment? Which fields they want to work in?
Well, like I said before, the majority, which is something that really gets to me, they just want to be administrative assistant. Like majority, I would say 90%. Like no lie, 90%.
Everyone wants an office job.
An office job, and that's the thing. Like, can I be truthful? Like, I just want because this is the thing. This is what gets to me. Like, I'm passionate about people, making it in life, and they have this thing that young Samaritans have this issue, like, they want have on a nice suit, want to be a bank teller, want to be let me say, front desk, and they will feel funny if the friends see them wearing a KFC shirt or a Subway shirt, but not knowing their salary might be the same thing as a bank teller. You understand what I'm saying? But just because they see that, oh, boy, she working bank, she making the big bucks, and I don't want KFC. But the thing is, let me say, KFC, that's not a job you want, but if it's available, get it now and work your way up to where you want to be after.
Let's just say fast food establishment.
Fast food establishment,
Let's not just call
yes.
names like that.
That's what I mean, yeah. So that's the biggest issue. And that's why we have the assessment process where we go through the questions, and that's where we come to a consensus where, okay, this is the type of job for you. This is what you need to be targeting instead of what you really thought that you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, attendees, will they also be able to apply for jobs on the spot during workshops, as seeing that you're going to be there, Mr. Lenroy Ray? Will that be possible?
Well, first we go through the assessment again after the
workshop.
The workshop. So after that, and if we see that we can bump you up to category 1, then we say, okay, you can apply for a certain job that you're looking for. But if you're still falling at category 2 and 3, it wouldn't be the perfect time to put you out there because we know you're not ready. You may think you're ready, but we just need a little more work, and then we can put you out to register for employment.
But like I mentioned earlier, we also take part in recruitment drives, which means that sometimes we have a specific vacancy that we are just looking for people for. And in that situation, then yes, you are directly applying for that job. So that is also the case in certain situations. The most recent recruitment drive we did was for a restaurant. And we had a pretty good turnout for that. It was actually very surprising with some of the resumes that we received, and the company was genuinely surprised, which we always enjoy doing. So yes, there is certain situations where you would be applying directly for a specific job, if that is the case that we have that.
All right. When those who seeking employment come to visit you, Mr. Lenroy Ray, and they have to sit with you on a one-on-one basis, how do you usually see them come dressed attired? Because I heard you mention even when they go out seeking for a job, you expect people to come show up with some kind of etiquette, in order to land themselves that job.
A very small percentage comes in with maybe a dress shirt and a dress pants, but majority is maybe just a t-shirt, a jeans, and right there, I tell them, like, listen, if you're really serious about getting a job, the first thing you need to start with is changing the way you present yourself, because that's the first thing employers see. Like, okay, that's how you dress and you ain't ready for this job. So that's the first thing I tell them. Like, some guys, hey, put up your pants, big man. And yeah.
Happy to have you both here on this edition of Inside Government. Any last few words you'd like to share with the public who's right now following us via radio and also viewing us?
Well, my last few words would be, once again, the Nesc team was developed specifically for helping job seekers and the business community. And we would love for everyone in those areas to really take the time out to learn more about us and to see the services that we have to offer and make use of those services, because we're doing it all for you. And you might as well take advantage of it now. We're here working to, I guess, close the gap between the job seekers and the business community, and we can only do it with your help. So we strongly advise that you reach out to us as soon as you can, as much as you can, and let's just see how we can work together. So that would be my last words.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what she said, just basically help us help you. Like, we here to do a certain job, you here to do a certain job also. Let's come together and let's make it a possibility. It's not that hard. Once we have good communication, we get a job done.
All right. To both my guests, I'd like to thank you very much, Ms. Mariah Constant and also Mr. Lenroy Ray. Thank you very much for being here on this edition of Inside Government.
Thank you again for having us.
To our radio listeners and television viewers, thank you for tuning in and being a part of this edition of Inside Government. If you have missed our broadcast, do be sure to log on to the official government site, which is at stmartingov.org for video on demand. And for rebroadcast of this program, be sure to tune in and listen to St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM. On behalf of our team here at the Department of Communication, I'm Ms. Charity Dunker. Thank you for tuning in.